Welcome to the Creative REI podcast, your go-to hub for all things real estate, business, life, travel, etc. I'm your host, Dante, joined by my co-host, Ed, both real estate professionals on a mission to connect and educate. This podcast is sponsored by PropStream, the most trusted provider of comprehensive real estate data nationwide. What's poppin', everybody? It's your boy Dante Pena with the Creative REI. We got a special guest today, the ADU specialist, Dadu specialist, coming out of Seattle, Washington. Woo-hoo. But we are
Mr. Worldwide,
Mr. Nationwide. Are we doing Dadus internationally? He is from Canada.
That's it. I mean, they're happening out there.
They're doing Dadus in Canada.
That's it.
My guy Shiraz. With it, it's called the Dadu. Your brand is
legit,
the Dadu Guy.
The Dadu Guy.
Shiraz, the Dadu Guy. Guys, we're talking about taking properties that you own, throwing a Dadu on there, which we're going to explain what a Dadu is if you don't know what it is. And but first, I want to know about Shiraz.
Yeah, man.
What's your story? How'd you get into real? Are you real estate or contracting or both? You're both.
Both right now. Started off. The story goes back 10 years, 12 years. 2012, my family invested in businesses and it went south.
What kind of businesses?
Gas station, car washes, delis. So they had a good number of stuff and kind of went south. That we put that aside.
Gas station went south?
Yeah, meaning like business partner relationships.
Okay, not the business of having a gas station.
Not the business itself. So
would it be safe to say that running a gas station, if you ran it efficiently, is worth it?
Yeah, 100% is just find the right partners. Make sure you're situated and sitting with the right people in the right seats. Okay. So that's something that I learned.
Right seats.
Yeah, I learned that at an early age, obviously dealing with that. 2012, all of a sudden that went down to zero. My family's business went down to zero. We had to sell our dream home that we built and then was left homeless at that point. Had to empty it out. I knocked on my buddy's house and I asked if I can live in his garage. Damn. So literally in 2012, before it was an ADU, DADU, or any of that name culture that was out there, I was already living in a garage that was converted because I went dumpster diving in a carpet company, pulled out carpets so my feet wouldn't freeze. And this is in Northern California. Okay. So then I went and grabbed that, and then I went to Home Depot, bought broken drywall for $5 a sheet. Put that up just to get some privacy. Lived there for 3.5 years.
So you became the Dadu Guy by going broke in 2012 and living in a Dadu?
I didn't formulate it that time, but 100%, that's when epiphany hit. And I was like,
the beginning of a big story.
That's it, man. 10 years later, that's when the company came alive, literally. So damn. Yeah. So if we move that hindsight
forward,
you're a
comeback story.
That it was wild. I had $0, didn't eat for 3 days. Yeah. Literally. The rags to riches kind of feel to it. Yeah. But I mean, everybody's got a story. Yeah. Mine was, I played in the same scenario of what I lived in. Right. So I lived in that 1-car garage and I was like, if I can live in it, single dude, oh man, somebody else can do this. So when I bought my first property in Washington, right, I looked at the detached garage at the back, 440 square feet. Right. And I realized that was pretty badass that I could turn around and convert that into a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Man. So by me doing my 9 to 5, I did that 5 to 9, built that
5 to 9. So while you had your 9 to 5, you worked on your 5 to 9.
No, had to. I was always thinking about it. I did all the hard work myself, put in the trades, hired actual licensed tradesmen to come in and oversee my work. Right. Just so make sure that I passed inspections, made sure that was happening. This is in 2017, 2018 when nobody was doing a whole lot of these. What I realized was like a year and a half later, what we bought it for, we doubled our actual profit when we sold it in a year and a half.
So you went and did it yourself. Correct. Before you started the company.
Correct.
I love that, bro. The comeback story, sleeping on pretty much somebody's garage, and the fact that you came back from it. I can definitely say there's a lot of people out there, maybe even right now or maybe on a comeback right now, but they went through some situation where they were so down that they probably wanted to give up and maybe even had some, mental health issues that came with it. But you're a perfect example of overcoming and kind of just moving on, right?
You got to.
I love that.
I mean, you got to. I mean, I had a lot of things going against me. I was subpoenaed 11 times because my family's business going down.
Like
At
lawsuits?
23 years old. I went to that. I had $111,000 lawyer fee
Shit.
after. So
I'm
literally
sure.
I started at negative 111 instead of 0. So I know what it feels like in regards to not having the money, but that's not an excuse.
Right.
So you gotta
You figure it
claw
out.
of it.
You know, I just read somewhere, it was Vivian. Vivian posted, she was at a meetup and she said, if you can't figure out how to make money with no money, you're not going to be able to figure out how to make money with money. That's
Facts.
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's a dope. Okay, so rewind 2012, staying in a converted garage, added to it, turned it into something, sold it.
That was 2017, 2018. Sold it at
And made a
2018.
profit.
Realized that it was a profit. 2020, I formulated the company.
Okay, the
and
Dadu Guy.
The Dadu Guy, built that out. I started buying more and more rentals for myself, trying to get financial freedom because I was working a 9 to 5.
Okay.
Started going to events where I met you,
Yeah.
Bigger Pockets, Limitless, all these other bigger events.
Yeah.
Started really educating myself. I bought 8 properties during the 2 years time span.
Damn.
Built a Dadu on every single one.
A Dadu on him. Okay, so let's rewind real quick because we met where?
Bigger Pockets.
Bigger Pockets
Yeah.
Convention. We went to a meetup. It wasn't a meetup. It was actually a conference where everybody.
It's a convention, right?
Over 1,000 people
Yeah.
at least came to this convention. And honestly, this is probably one of the most poppin' conventions I've ever been to, was at Bigger Pockets, you guys. But the main thing for this was the networking. A lot of the stuff you learn in there, if you're a brand new person and you're trying to get into real estate, yeah, go sit in the seminars. But me and Shiraz were talking before this started, and he wasn't in any of the seminars, were you?
I think I went to like one.
What were you doing the whole time?
Networking in the hallways.
Boom.
We only just did one too, right? It was like
Yeah.
a rental one.
We
I guess.
stayed in the lobby as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So network, guys, network. Your network is your net worth. If it
Facts.
wasn't for us meeting Shiraz in the lobby, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking about Dadus.
Mhm.
That's it.
So network, guys. That was my point. Anyways, so
What's a Dadu?
Ooh.
Detached Accessory Dwelling Unit. So basically, rest of the nation calls it attached or accessory dwelling unit on its own.
mhm.
What I took on the brand was detached. If I'm going to live in a unit, I want it to be totally separated. I don't want to hear the kids banging on the walls. I don't want to hear your
Right.
dog barking. The reason why you don't live in an apartment and you want an accessory dwelling unit is to not have that feel,
Mhm.
right? So we went with that as our whole holistic approach of developing these things for a full separated piece.
So in San Diego, we call them ADUs. You call them DADUs, Dadus. So we have attached dwelling units,
Right.
detached.
It's the same. If you want to call it a granny flat, you want to call
Right.
it a casita, you want to call it cottages, you want to call it ADUs, AADUs, which is attached. And then there's also a JADU, a junior, that you can carve out a piece of your actual home
Right.
and carve out 500 square foot, the master bedroom, and you can make that a separate unit too. So there's a lot of ways and a lot of names to what you can do. We just went with Dadus because it's the detached, the most independent feel to it, and that's what we want to live by.
Independent feel. I like that. So it doesn't matter what you call it; they're all the same thing.
That's
It's
it.
another
Right.
unit on your property.
Tomato,
that you-
tomato.
right?
Yeah.
And you know, with law and regulation going around, these things are becoming huge, especially in San Diego. He's in Washington, Seattle, right?
Correct. Yeah.
They're huge out there as well, and I think with the affordable housing situation that's going on, it's kind of like a, you know, somewhat of a solution on top of the, you know, whatever new builds that we got going. So guys, be the solution to the housing problem. If you got land, throw a Dadu on there. If you're in Seattle or surrounding, hit up the Dadu Guy and get a quick estimate to see exactly what it's going to cost to put one in and what's the value, because he's also an investor, right?
I am. I call myself the investor first and then the developer.
I like that.
So you gotta call what you do. So I walk the walk. I am actively always looking for a property that I can develop myself. So as you're building as my clients, I could show you stuff that I have too. So it's not a I just tell you about it or I'm a part of just the construction side. I'm about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it gave me and my family the financial freedom that we needed for me to leave a high paying 6-figure job. And now we're all in.
You
on
left a
this risk.
6-figure 9 to 5, not just the regular
Yeah.
one.
I was a biomedical engineer before.
Damn, so you're a doctor?
No. I was fixing cancer equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So fixing it, not selling it.
No.
Wow.
I wish I sold it, but yeah, no, I was calibrating them and actually basically performing preventive
like
maintenance.
software?
And no, more or less like keeping it upkeep and then let alone validating it that it's good equipment to use for medicine.
It's like the mechanics behind it.
Mechanics and keeping them at par, making sure that they're running as they're set out to be.
Damn, bro, you got a resume, so you're pretty much just been a hustler your whole life.
You got to be.
What nationality are you? I gotta ask.
I'm Fijian.
Oh, Fijian. Fijian?
Yeah, I'm an islander.
Like the Fiji water?
That's it. That's literally where it came from.
Never met a Fijian before, I feel like.
That's it. Yay.
Yeah, that's dope. I thought maybe you were like Middle Eastern or something.
No, probably by back heritage somewhere along the lines. Fijian descent since like
Fijian descent.
1800s, and then I was born and raised in Canada.
They're really good MMA fighters. That's what I know about Fiji.
I mean, anything in an
No,
island.
we're rugby players. We're big time rugby
Also
players.
rugby?
Yeah, that's how it works, right? So we're close by Australia, New Zealand. We got that whole Samoan. We got that.
It's
tribal
indigenous, South Pacific indigenous.
100%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so ADUs, investor first, construction last. Let's talk about the difference between construction and investing, right? So you own properties already.
Correct.
You have your own property. How many properties you got?
27.
How long did you acquired 27 properties in what time frame?
5 years.
5 years, 27 properties. Most of your money, private money, all of the above.
So that was the beauty, was every time that I was developing one, we came up with a game plan of either we'll build one to sell or build one to keep. So that was our game plan. And as that expedited and we were making better, I mean, we had the benefit of the run, right? So obviously interest rates were low, things were making sense, people were overpaying, and you buy in good areas, it just makes sense. So I was literally walking into properties, not even looking at the front house, going straight to the garage. One house I bought just because of the garage, because it was 900 square foot at the back.
Were you paying market value for these?
I
almost?
overpaid on 2 of them and still came out.
And you still made money?
I still made 150 grand.
Bro, we're gonna start buying deals like
Yeah,
that.
I feel
We're
like
gonna
a
be
lot
every
of-
single cash offer moving forward. If you're a wholesaler or an investor who buys cash, you're losing to us
Yeah, I
every
feel like
time.
a lot of people are now doing the creative route, whether it's,
It's the only way, man.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're on live and you have questions for the Dadu Guy, put them in the comments. Let me know. We want to get some questions going live. That's dope. So you buy one, keep one. So essentially every property you buy, you get a property out of it and still make money.
Essentially, yeah. All the way through. It's almost a
Mind blown
burr
right now.
strategy. I call it the burr, because you're
The burr?
literally daduing the burr. So what you're doing is you're upgrading the front house, adding value to the back, building that thing. The whole appraisal comes higher. And if you can cash out, if you know what you're doing, keeping your cost where it needs to be, you can literally walk out with $0 refinancing it.
Bro, I love this. This is like giving me ideas. Just talking
For
about
someone that thinks like, oh, it's too good to be true, what's like an objection you get?
You
for ADUs?
gotta know your local market. You got to know what it's reselling for. You gotta know what the value of the Dadu itself in that area is worth. So for me, I was my own comp. For a good couple of years, I was the one that was selling them. I was the one that was building them fastest.
So there's no comps of selling Dadus.
So
and
when
you
I
were the
knew-
only one.
I knew in
So
that
you
zip
started,
code,
you created the market.
100%. In my local area, every time I sold, I knew that price per square foot was gonna sell on my next one. Right? So I kept on pushing it up.
We got a guy, Ben. He says, if I'm in Seattle, what's the process of adding a Dadu and how customizable is it?
All right. So here it is. We'll give you the lowdown.
Meat and potatoes.
That's it. That's it, man. So we are an all-in company. We have structural engineers. We have architects. We have interior designers. We take it, what we call the a la carte version is when you come in from your first consultation, we'll take you all the way to permitting, design, all the way to construction management, and give you a certificate of occupancy. The next day you can rent it. We give you that whole, if you're still working, we'll take care of the whole build for you. So you do not have to worry about it. We take out the time duration that you would spend putting all these pieces together. We're coming at it. Yes, we're a premium product that's coming, but what we do is we eliminate all the struggles, all the stress, all the breakdown that comes
So you're
with
paying for an
construction.
experience, not just a price.
Correct.
Which brings me to my next thing. Okay, let me tell you guys something about construction, okay, and how it works. A lot of y'all, and I want everybody to know this, a lot of people who want to get construction, you get bids. I understand that completely. But do not haggle your contractor ever. If you haggle your contractor, You're going to get haggled work. Okay. Pay the guy's price if you vibe with him. Okay. If you want to get a cheaper price, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, a majority of the stuff that happens when people try to get a better price is they end up spending more money fixing the problem because they decided to take shortcuts. Do not take shortcuts with construction. Would you agree?
100%, man. That's a key component when people are always looking for the cheapest dollar, trying to, I could do it for cheaper. I could do a garage conversion for 80 grand. I can't even do a garage conversion for 80 grand. How are you going to get it? My uncle can do it. My cousins can do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. But I also have rescued dadus that get stuck in the middle.
You got tired of doing it. Now you got to hire us and pay more money.
That's it. And
what about regulation? Okay. So obviously Seattle regulation and getting it done there. Is the concept the same in San Diego? Because San Diego's huge on, we call it ADUs. You call it dadus. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's all the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay. But they're big here in San Diego. Number one, the affordable housing, right? It's not affordable housing, but it's helping with the housing crisis, right? You're creating more homes. There's, I think, even tax breaks and grants. I got to look into it, but don't quote me. But there's tax breaks and grants.
Correct.
To be able to have these. And then not only that, from what you were telling me earlier, you can sell it separately from your house.
So the beauty is in Seattle, Washington is a trend leading state that's doing dadus, ADUs.
So they're the forefront.
They're the forefront. California is its brother that is going to copy, vice versa. They always do.
The little brother that does.
No, they're the big brother that just hasn't caught on yet. You guys are huge out here about it, right? So it's going to happen here. It's no matter what, it's already been approved to happen here, that you can condominiumize it, which means you can treat it like a single tax ID parcel first. By the time you build the dadu, you can get a survey and a lawyer and make an HOA condo on that parcel and get a different APN number and sell that thing separately. So
and
the
then
beauty
keep your
is
other house and then
keep the other house, live for half the cost, or if that's selling for a lot more, $150,000 profit, you can put that towards your down payment. You have a less mortgage carry.
What was your biggest deal doing a dadu and keeping one and selling the other?
Profit wise.
Okay, no. Let's do this. What was the turnaround time? And how much did you make after you sold it?
So when I created the system and when we isolated how fast we can go, we tested it 1 year. So when we tested it 1 year, we took a garage conversion. It wasn't a full ground up build. The garage existed. We took that's the 900 square foot one that we did in 4.5 months. So the time period was quick. The permit took about 6 weeks because we have our own in-house architect that knows the whole process of it. So when we went in there, we knocked it out. We actually put it on market. We made about $236,000.
Sheesh! And you kept the other house.
We kept the other
$236,000 profit and kept a house at on top. So you made profit and kept a house?
We sold both in that scenario.
Oh, okay.
We sold both in that scenario.
So that was just
but
profit.
if you did that in Seattle, basically we're building from a price range of 300 to 400,000, and they're reselling for around 600 to 800,000.
Will says Will is asking how long it takes in Seattle or versus here.
The permit process here is a lot longer. I think there is a program that you can get with ADUs now in California, moving them quicker. The legislation just approved that they want it to go quicker. For us, we have a pre-approved program called the Pradu. So there are designers and developers that have already submitted to the city and got a stamp on the design.
And how much time does that cut for you?
That cuts you about a month and a half.
Okay, so a month and a half ahead. I have a question on here is, what innovation, design, and construction features sets you apart from your ADUs and let's say maybe competitors?
100%. We can a la carte to your specific property. If you have views of the lake, if you have ocean views, if you have not even the views, if your parking is limited in your area, we will find a way to build above it and get you a garage in there. In-house, we've built so many and we have prototypes that will work for your property that we can customize it for the best layout for your square footage that nobody else will match us unparalleled wise, that we will look up for the customer. I remember when I said I was an investor first, that's how I treat all my clients.
All that.
I want to make sure if your grandma's moving in there, I'll make it ADA compliant.
Yeah.
I'll make
Did you see some of his pictures? You haven't seen the pictures yet.
No, but I think remember Henish? Well, we had a podcast with Henish. He was talking about how he had an ADU with 2 underground garages. Yeah.
So some of your designs, they're like modern style. Like take a look at these. I'm gonna have Mike put it on the screen.
Sure.
But these things are like modern looking houses, but they're ADUs and like they're modern, like the whole like set. It's super dope. And there was one that I saw and I was like, oh, I need that. And these are already pre-built. Almost, like not pre-built, they're pre-made plans.
No, those are pre-designed by us.
Okay,
so we keep that in-house. You come at us with your specific property. If that one fits, we'll design it, tweak it. If you tell us you want like a studio instead of a bedroom, we'll lay out that. We'll make sure of that.
So we can move out the
So we'll customize it. The beauty is our in-house development knows how to work with that for you.
Okay.
So I mean, we've seen daycares run out of these things. We've seen also
somebody just make it into their office.
Yeah,
like a small office.
Well, during COVID, a lot of people are asking just for an office. We turn around and we're like, why don't we build you a whole kitchenette? Now it's a resellable item in the future for you. Right. It's not just stuck to an office. Let's put in the AC. Let's put in what is needed for an actual housing component because the infill is needed.
Ooh, we got some good question. Will wants to know about how lot split works. And then also SB 9, 10, and 11 here in California. Are you familiar with those?
I know a little bit about it, but I don't know the whole program.
They don't have it in Seattle or Washington that way, huh?
No.
So essentially, I think SB 9 is the flag lot split. So there's like you can take a portion of your lot, build an ADU on there, and then split that lot almost like a flag and then sell it off. I assume that's the same thing as what you're doing when you're selling one, keeping one though, right?
Correct. So when you're able to do that, it's almost the same thing. From what I heard, that SB 9 is a little bit longer process, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Compared to what we can do as a norm.
Ooh.
Right. So it's been happening for a while. Our luxury for Washington is we've been doing it for a while. Right. We already know where the appraisals are going to come in. When the appraiser doesn't know where to appraise this, certain appraisers are going to appraise the build for $1 per the square foot that you built it for. So is that really advantage for adding the value? Some are going to give you the 10x to it, right? So that's where you're going to get the money. That's where you're going to get the returns. What is valuable for that?
Right.
So lot splitting, answering the question is you have to get a survey involved because you have to draw the new lot lines of where this new APN will be. Right. And then you got to also get a lawyer involved to create documentation to create the HOA.
Well, so that brings in between that process. What are some roadblocks or issues that you've come across with permitting? Oh yeah. So permitting is it's a gamut of everything. We in Washington have large trees. That's one thing you got to look out for. Every city, including San Diego, including everywhere else, LA, we got historic houses. Some of them you can't tear down, even if it's an old shed. They want to keep them historic. Like you can't even update them. You have to keep them. Yeah.
And if they do let you build a Dadu or ADU in the back, you have to match what's the front. So now that's an extra cost that you got to keep in mind. So those kind of things, your lot, you got to make sure it's bigger than 3,200 square feet lot, right? So sometimes the really tiny one
3,200 square
up in Washington. I don't know what it is here, but we always recommend.
It's crazy because when I used to work at the city of Carlsbad, every tree has a number. You know that, right?
They number every tree.
Yeah, they're like recorded there. It's like very specific. So they're on it. Yeah. So I believe it.
We have a lead right now. We're not gonna give you all the address because I know there's somebody out there trying to steal our leads. But it's in downtown Oceanside. And it's how many units?
11 was it?
It was 11.
Yeah, I think you mentioned
11 units. 11 units. But I went to go look at it, and where the house is, there's 2 other houses next to it. And then on the back side is an apartment complex that looks like it takes up the lots of all 3 houses. So I'm like, wondering if I want to try to get a hold of the other owners and see if we could just get the whole thing. But I think that's 6,800 square feet.
Sheesh.
Do you remember?
By the beach?
The lot size?
No.
We gotta figure out the lots. I'm trying to figure that out because can you squeeze 11 units in 6,800 square feet?
San Diego, you guys are a beast out here. You guys are allowing a lot more. But here's a trick in the caveat that you always have to keep in mind,
Mm-hmm.
low income housing or medium income housing.
Mm.
It's a 10-year hold or a 15-year at that
Has to
price
stay
range.
at that, yeah.
So if you are building multiple units in the back that San Diego allows, make sure you keep that in mind. You cannot bump up rents, whereas in Washington, you can build it and you can get local market rents.
Where do you see the future of ADUs doing with housing?
100%. That's
That's
one
way more
solution.
cost effective than building a house. It sounds like.
I mean, it's going to get pricier. It might come lower with cheaper contractors coming in the market, but at the same time, a good quality product can never be beaten, right? So
Right.
a good area, locations, it's going to keep on growing. It's a good solution, but it's not the only one that we need in this nation.
Okay.
Right? Overall, everywhere
it's
we
a
need
solution, not the solution.
Yeah. So
What about regulation? There's some regulation you were talking about that nobody really knows about yet.
no,
We're gonna spill the beans here. Is this exclusive?
we can say something,
Exclusively on the Creative REI
That's
experience. You've seen it here first. Bow, bow, bow. We need a
Breaking
button, bro.
news.
I'm
That's
getting
it.
tired of saying we're gonna.
We'll
So-
edit them in.
Yeah, Michael, we're gonna have to need some sound effects. We'll talk about
That's
that.
it. Drop that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's just a lot of jurisdictions are allowing these.
Mhm.
Now, where are they going to stop and how fast are they going to go?
Mhm.
There's timelines set to these. If you're in the local market, watch what your jurisdiction's doing.
Mhm.
They're going to tell you the specific date. And if you can get in there
Mhm.
and line up yourself for it, it's huge. It's
Mhm.
astronomical. Like the county that I'm building in, the ones that I have my houses
Mhm.
in, literally, I'm just waiting for it to turn.
Yeah.
Then I could condo these things.
Yeah.
Then I could get a separate loan on just the Dadu alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about it.
Damn.
Then the
And it's its own little lend. So if you need to like sell off the other house and keep that loan in place and keep the house, you could do that.
mortgage brokers, you got to look out. This has to be the newest thing coming for you when slow times are hitting you right now. There's a huge influx,
Especially
about
with slow times. Let's
Right.
talk about market conditions. How do you feel about market conditions? What are we? December 8th today? December of 2023. What do you think market conditions are? I mean, obviously stuff's shaky, stuff's sitting on the market. It's not going 100K over asking.
No.
Did they do that in Seattle too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, more than that, and it's still
Yeah.
happening.
Really?
Good properties, good
Sheesh.
locations.
No, we ain't getting no over asking here.
Not here.
One of my investors,
Not that I've seen.
one of my investors was looking at a house for $595.
Mhm.
It sold well over $7. Well
In
over $7.
Seattle.
Seattle. Because the Dadu plays there and the house itself is in the neighborhood, cute neighborhoods
Mhm.
that people want to be in. Either it's local to all the restaurants and bars that are trending
Location.
or has the coolest yoga studio.
Mhm.
It matters about that. It's now
Wow.
getting
So
nitty gritty.
amenities.
Yeah, it's now getting nitty gritty. Each block means something.
Mm.
So you gotta pay
Okay.
attention.
So do you still invest or do you just do this 100%? Because I know.
I just bought 3 houses last month.
Okay,
wow.
so you're buying 3 houses, and then you involved in any other projects? I know you said something about a like apartment complex in Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I diversified
Okay.
and I invested into an LP deal, which is limited partner,
Mhm.
into a larger apartment deal.
What is like a syndication?
Syndication, exactly. Just wanted to test the balance, really see what it is.
Uh-huh.
Overall, looking at of what they're performing and what they're doing,
Uh-huh.
the value is with you. If you
Right.
understand your local market, why go outside of it?
Right.
For me now, realizing that and putting the money up, that was a learning lesson that I have to swallow that pill on
Right.
to see if it ever comes back.
You like to be in control, and this
That's
is like,
it,
I don't
man.
have no control over this. This is somebody else playing with my money. How does the so let me ask you this. What's the structure of this? I'm curious because we're starting to raise capital for a lot of our deals. And so the way that these bigger funds are structuring stuff, it's new to me. I'm still
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a pref that they'll give you. There's a disbursement that they'll give you for
Mhm.
monthly, depends on quarterly, whatever they set up.
Do you make money right away or?
No, most of them don't. Most of them
Okay.
want to either ramp up and actually build out the operating team
Mhm.
and really come in there and project bigger rents or do some heavy rentals,
Mhm.
and then they'll start disbursements. But
Okay.
then there's always a 5 to 7 year plan for this, and there's a payout probably right around 1 to 2 times most of these larger syndications are
Mhm.
for these apartment buildings.
Mhm.
But don't forget, in apartment and multifamily, there is no lock 30 years. they're on variables.
They don't finance for 30 years. Yeah. Like right now, I think commercial properties are going to be coming due on their loans like next year.
Everywhere.
And
Every month,
banks are
other
not
ones are.
refinancing. They're like, we're not going to renegotiate your loan. Like this is sell your stuff.
Yeah. No, it's happening everywhere. You're hearing in the market that commercial is going to get hit a bit. It will for the people that didn't project it correctly. And is your money safe with somebody else running it? And do you feel comfortable with that? You got to ask that internally, and I could give you.
Do you know how many people are part of your LP?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. That
so
was
too many people. That's
it was a $60 million buy.
Damn.
So
how much you put into it?
100K.
You put 100K out of 60 mil.
Yeah.
What's the
I'm
percentage?
I'm a small percentage, but at the same time, it was my first venture outside of myself.
Yeah.
Just to figure out if I'm a lone island investing,
right?
Can I create some money passively elsewhere?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to pay back. I don't know what it's going to do. I mean,
wait,
I got fingers crossed.
Would you start your own LP like that? Like if you had a project of your own, raise the capital and then do it yourself since you have the building experience?
It would be nice to give back. I think what I really want to specialize is I want to be the financing company for my Dadu builds, for my clients. So now you
financing for the clients.
It's about to come. It's about to drop. That's another bomb. Hit that sound.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
That's it. No.
So I want to build on my lot and you come in and I don't want to put any money down.
Yeah. So we'll look at your credit. We'll give you a background, see how your mortgage status was.
Is a lien on the property?
Yeah, we have to. I mean,
I'm not complaining. I want to,
100%.
You need to secure your project.
100%. So there's enough equity to give me the 20% or the whatever comfortability that I need. I'll build your project. Since I'm your builder, I can guarantee you the finish of that. And then we'll have a balloon at a certain point.
Okay.
That you would have to go refinance it.
Okay. Do you monthly payments or?
Yeah, it would be a monthly interest rates.
It's all based
off that. So that's dropping 2024.
Man, guys, if you're liking some of this stuff in the live, go ahead and throw some fire emojis. Throw out some more questions. Oh, the lot size is 5334 for Oceanside.
For your guys.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will.
There you go.
Oh, he's on it.
Yeah, he is on top of it. Let's see. We got how do you foresee ADUs evolving in the next decade considering advancements in technology? Whoa.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know because the way that the rapid rate of technology is happening,
right?
How can we predict what's going to happen in the next 5 years?
I've been seeing 3D printers building stuff now.
Yeah. China's doing it.
Yeah.
China's
3D printers are just building full on like it's concrete, a 3D printer with concrete just building and then dries up like.
But now our jurisdiction is going to look at that as the same as like mobile homes where they're not valued the same as stick build.
Right. So like tiny homes.
Yeah.
Just roll it in, roll it out.
But then they don't get appraised the same way.
That's true.
So now what do you want to do? Are you wanting to stick build?
So you're saying a Dadu is appraised as like a house?
Correct.
So it's just like a 1,000 square foot house versus if I brought a tiny home, wouldn't be appraised the same.
No, you because you can roll it in and out.
Okay.
Right. So if it's movable, it won't get refinanced as good. Why is a mobile home considered not easily refinanceable? Why are a lot of banks not easily to lend on those? It's because it can move.
Right.
The land is just the land.
It depends on the year of the mobile home too. So I think regulations started on mobile homes in 1976. This is one shout out Jordan Scott for teaching me mobile homes. He's not a guru or nothing. He's just a homie of mine. So and I did my first mobile home deal. You start learning about mobile home builds, the years, the HUD plates, and before 1976, you can't loan on them, is what you're talking about. Yeah. So after, and then because of the regulation that had happened prior to that. So if you got something before that, they got to pay cash.
That's it.
With the Dadu, it's a built house.
It's a structure that cannot move.
You got to see these pictures, bro. Like these are like really nice. Like I've never seen 80. It's typically somebody do some makeshift. Like
some Home Depot built, like those little
shed.
Yeah.
Let me stop you there.
His is like a full like. You ever see those houses in like La Jolla?
Yeah, it's like, marble and like
not marble, but it's like the flat roof and it's got the great color schemes and it looks like a modern house. but it's like, you know, a tiny one.
Yeah.
Like that's
I mean,
built.
that's all you need if you're like single or like just.
That's what he was saying. You can
Yeah, or
travel if you
student.
don't have to, you know, stay the night there all the time.
Right.
Airbnb it. We've seen
Mhm.
all the, what I call it's a multi-generational living.
Mhm.
Whether your parents are getting elderly
Mhm.
because of COVID, you couldn't go see them.
Mhm.
So a lot of people moved their parents closer to them, built the Dadu.
Mhm.
We made it wheelchair accessible. We made it handrails in the right spots. We did ADA compliance, made sure that was there. And then
Mhm.
the kids that went off to college couldn't get jobs, or they were sent home because
They
the
gotta come back.
university closed.
Mhm.
So then now we built them space because the parents are empty nesters. They don't want them back.
They can't, and they,
Come on now.
they probably can't afford rent nowadays with the way that stuff's
Right.
going as
It's
broke college
expensive.
kids.
Yeah.
So stay with mom and dad, pay mom and dad rent.
Right? Pay mom and dad rent.
House hack.
Now think about this: parents' equity goes up. Whose inheritance is that? The
Mhm.
kids.
Right.
You help your parents literally pay for your own inheritance. So that's a sweet
Yeah.
setup for overall family growth. That's what I'm passionate about, is
Long term.
giving you financial freedom and giving you longevity. Our company slogan and logo is we want you to win, because you
Mm.
build one and we show you the best avenues of how to build this that makes sense for that property.
Mm-hmm.
After that, whether you sell it, rent it, you're winning
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. And your family's going to get cash flow from it, or you're going to resell that property. You're going to pay down your mortgage so you live free, or you're going to give that to your kids to go buy another house.
Right.
And what's the first thing that comes to their mind? Let's build a Dadu in the back of my house.
Right.
There you go. Dad gave me 150 grand to go put down for a house. I'm already thinking about the backyard.
Right.
So for us, we want you to win. It's not once. We're creating this for your whole family.
Guys, I like this idea so much that they don't have the Dadu Guy in San Diego yet, but they got Dante.
Franchise.
Franchise. So Homeboy's gonna franchise out, but you know what? I just started a construction company to myself that wanted to specialize on ADUs and new builds. So ironically, my guy Shiraz, we're gonna be collaborating on ADUs. So if you are in the Washington area, is it all of Washington or just Seattle?
We're in 2 counties right now.
Okay.
Looking to expand. We got 3 crews running. We only take on 8 builds every quarter.
Okay.
Let's put that out there. As
Wow.
a client interviews me, I interview them.
Right.
So that's the beauty, is
We want to make sure you're serious if I'm doing this, because my time's valuable.
that's it. Likewise, I
Mm.
want to respect that. If I can't build it for you, I don't want to waste your time,
Right.
and I don't want to take on a project that's not meshing with both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't do bathroom remodels. We don't do kitchen flips. We
Right.
don't do anything. Our guys know exactly what to do.
We're doing
for
strictly
Dadus.
ADUs.
That's it.
So for the people that are not in Washington or not in Seattle, how can they go about getting one of these? They just reaching out to your local guy, or reaching out to you on Instagram?
Definitely reach out to your local GCs.
Mhm.
A little bit of a golden nugget for the future.
Mhm.
We're expanding consultation packages for
Mm.
states, for DIY homeowners that want to build themselves. We've seen
Ooh.
a huge interest in California, up and down
A
north.
do-it-yourself ADU?
Yeah, so more or less, you get the contractors, you get all that. We'll make sure you pass along the way. So it's a built-in package that you call us. We'll do the Zoom call with you. We'll verify what's happening, and we want to make sure that you pass so that your build finishes.
Would you guys sell the materials yourself, or?
No, it's more or less you're doing the homework, you're doing the legwork. We're construction management.
Okay.
We're overseeing it for you. So that's coming in the future. I'm just throwing that out there
Is
for
this
you.
nationwide? Because I got some people watching from Florida.
Oh
Can
yeah.
you do ADUs in Florida? If I got land,
Oh yeah.
I got a lot maybe, and
Yeah.
or I got a house with a lot in Florida, and let's say I want to add a Dadu on there, I could do that in Florida too.
Florida, Nashville's blowing up, man. Nashville is like such a hot pot right now. Everybody's going there. It's cooking. It's happening.
Mhm.
That's the place to be. That's happening from calls that are coming to us. Atlanta,
ATL.
New Jersey's approving some.
Wow.
If you're looking at this, this is happening all around. Any state that makes sense per the dollars per square foot. What
Mhm.
I say is it's coastal right now, because our housing market, you buy a old 60s, 50s, even older homes
Guess
for
somebody
$1
saying
million
it's
bucks.
not in Tampa yet.
It's not in Tampa, yeah.
Okay.
Fort
Not
Lauderdale.
Hey,
But-
stay tuned, Angel. It'll be in Tampa soon. I
It's
think
coming.
maybe some of the counties are considering, but not quite yet in Tampa.
You can develop them 100%. You can
Mhm.
either get a permit to allow them to use a livable space in the back,
Mhm.
but you can't sell them, or
Mm-hmm.
you can only do a certain point up to there. You can't put a full kitchenette. They'll
Mhm.
stop you at certain points. But if you pre-draw out this, you're already ready. You're the first to the game. So certain cities are allowing
Be
that.
the first two.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about Airbnb with regulation. Seems like Airbnb is getting shut down.
It's getting tighter, 100%. We have midterm rentals where traveling nurses.
Yeah.
We're
How's
converting.
that working for you? It's kind of. I heard traveling nurses contracts are they're cutting them.
It's not even the contract. It's the people that got stale during COVID that were Airbnb actual looking for the daily rate were able or wanting to drop the rates so that they at least made some money. And it was almost to the point where it was my long-term rate.
Right.
So it made no sense in certain areas. So again, that's local, location-wise. You want to make sure that where you're renting these midterm rentals, these are great assets that after we build them, they're premium for renting certain areas. And if you want to do the short-term rental, 100% it makes sense, but not every area makes sense, right?
Yeah. Man, ADUs, dadus. Okay, so the recap. You bought a house that had land, you put a dadu on there, and you sold the house and kept the dadu, correct?
That's it.
You made a profit.
You make a profit.
6-figure profit.
Or you can break even on the house.
And get your money back. And
now
you
and you refinance the dadu, and the dadu, if we build it for you for, let's just give you a wide range of 300 to 400,000, you refinance it for 600 to 700,000. You already got your 20% margin. You get the house for free at the back.
Free house
and brand new.
Free house and brand new build.
Brand new. You customized it.
That's a strategy there. Where's the Dadu Guy merch at? Ooh.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay, so where do they find you on Instagram? The Dadu Guy?
The Dadu Guy. We're expanding out there. We're looking at YouTube content, collaborating with good folks. We want to get the message out there that this is a source for your whole family. This is not just you. You got to think beyond that, because when I'm talking about kids just graduating, think about your first home. If you can offset renting an apartment for $1,500, $2,000 nowadays,
right?
If you can offset that by building a dadu, and it costs your mortgage rate today's market is $3,500, $4,000. If you can create a dadu and combine the mortgage together at, let's just call it $4,500, you're only paying $1,500, and if you can rent the front for $3,000, you're doing all right.
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 And so over time, it'll get better.
I mean, even a 2%, 3% appreciation.
Right.
You're making something compared to an apartment.
Right.
Come on now.
So California, Seattle being kind of very similar as far as appreciation in equity.
Yeah.
They increase significantly larger than most places in the United States.
Correct.
So obviously this being a value add play where you're adding square footage to your property.
Yep.
And you have a completely different living structure that you could also use as either rental income, sell for profit, or just hang on to it and add to the portfolio.
That's the beauty. There's so many exit plans to this.
Right.
And always what I would urge everybody to look at it, does it make financial sense with a long-term rentals before you jump into hey, I could short-term this thing. Always look at the long-term rental. But yes, there's 3 strategies to this thing. If you can keep both, think about the longevity of 15 years from now, and your tenants have paid these things down. You got 2 properties that will reassess very nicely. That gives you a huge kicker.
And 2 separate loans.
You didn't have to buy another piece of property just to do this, right?
Right.
Any more questions?
They already asked that. Advancement in technology. What is this, AI? We got AI on here? Guys, any other questions? I know we got a few people watching. Do we have any questions for my guy, the Dadu Guy, my boy Shiraz, coming out from Seattle?
What has been like the most challenging part on starting your DADU business?
Is more or less figuring out if I wanted to take on more, because everybody...
You need to delegate to elevate, so we need to expand your guys.
Yeah.
8 per quarter?
8 per quarter.
Man, you must be doing good. 8 per quarter.
We got 6 right now. We got 10 in the pipelines coming on. It's just, I mean, everybody wants it. Everybody needs it. Everybody's looking for it. But who's going to execute?
Right.
I have investors that do multiples throughout the years. Right. So
they keep buying property and adding dadus.
Think about it. If you're doing 4 or 5 a year and you make a profit of, let's just call it 100,000, 200,000 on each, if you buy in the right locations, you're doing all right. If we're building you for 350, and you turn around and selling them for 700 a piece after paying commissions, you're still taking a pretty good chunk.
That's crazy.
Right? And without doing anything, you're hiring me. You're hiring my team. We're
going
in
like a bunch of ideas now. I'm like, we got properties we're working on now. We got the triplex in Oceanside. We can, I think, try to get approved for another unit. But right now we have 2 units in the back that are not permitted at all, that were built without permitting. So we're just going through that process first.
Retrofit those in.
And once we get those retrofitted in, we have room for another unit. So I'm going to hit you guys up for this. Guys, if you want a Dadu or an ADU and you're in the Seattle area, hit up my boy Shiraz. If you're in San Diego, call me because I'm going to be working with Shiraz.
Let's do it.
Yeah. What else you got? You got any questions, Ed? We got some time.
Video. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kind of like thinking, you know, the demand for ADUs is just so big. What would you consider, let's say someone close to my age, right? Maybe a college graduate, maybe, you know, they just got their first, you know, big time gig. Maybe they're starting getting a, you know, solid income coming in. What would you recommend for someone?
Like a brand new college student?
Correct. That's looking to either buy a house or rent or
College
you know,
student looking to get into real estate.
So what I did was my first investment property, bought a 4-plex with 3.5% down.
That was FHA?
FHA.
Okay.
The 3 rents qualified for it. I lived in the shittiest one, renovated that, kept on hopping all 4, rented
house
those
hacking.
up, house hacking it, and the backyard was ready for me. It had dirt.
And so you built a Dadu in the back as well. So you had 4 units that you turned into how many?
6.
2 more units?
Yeah.
What was the cost for it?
I mean, I did it myself.
Okay, so just materials?
Yeah, so that was me putting in the hard work, the hands-on, actually knocking it out. So it just depends on your plate, especially if you're new.
Right.
House hack the first set. And allowance in all jurisdiction are changing. You might be able to, where Seattle, we have basements. You can convert a basement into a unit. If you have a garage at the back, convert
How's that work with installation and stuff? You got windows in basements?
Yeah, you have to do easement windows. You have to do the right-of-way doors, making sure that there's walkways correctly placed, all the way signage showing for if there was a fire, firefighters know that there's a unit B downstairs. You have to place all those things correctly.
Yeah, I don't know shit about basements.
No, it's not really a thing.
There's not a thing here.
No.
Not at all.
But if you look at it, you also get a little bit more wider land, flatter land around here too.
Ooh, Will wants to know how much you pay for appraisals in Washington.
Appraisals are standard pricing. Normally, if you're refinancing or financing, it's a part of the bundle.
Yeah, it comes with the financing.
Like, it could be $700 to $1,500. It just depends on who's your appraiser, what they're appraising for. You want an appraiser, especially for ADUs, DADUs, that is familiar with it, and especially coming out in California where it's gonna start getting appraised as their own units. The first couple are not gonna be benchmarked. They're not gonna be correct. They're not. Some will have a swing of like 150,000 in the same zip code.
Right.
So you got to let that balance out. You got to find that happy medium, and then they'll really recognize it. What we lucked out was in Washington, Seattle has already trended this. Seattle has been doing this for a while, and it's a beauty because it tells you what metropolitans all around the nation can do.
Okay. Good to know. So the laws that are coming, did we talk about that already? The laws passing in okay, so we talked about the laws.
It's coming here.
We talked about appreciation. We talked about you being construction versus investing. What's the craziest story you've gotten from ADUs or Dadus?
I won't drop no names, but I had a client, and that's why
that's the creative REI, bro. You can drop names. We need the controversy.
No, but I'll say it like this: where years back when I was starting off and trying to get my clients, that's why when I say when you're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you too.
Right.
I want the right client is because of this scenario. I had a client who was an early riser and thought that I was too. And yes, I wake up fairly early, but 4 o'clock in the morning getting text messages, hey, I would like to change this on my gate. I would like this handle to be changed. Oh, I was thinking about this and my daughter told me this. I was like,
you're like, bro,
okay.
I'm sleeping.
No, I was like, our work hours are 8 to 5. Contact us then or send an email because that's how my team gets back to you.
Right.
She's pinging me in the
like
scenario. Yeah, and the scenario was just.
She's probably excited, bro. You're like ruining her excitement.
Like,
oh my God, I want to do this. It's a great idea. And you're like, excuse me, ma'am, I'm sleeping.
I love the excitement. I just want to be able to make sure that the client's expectations are met off the get-go.
Right.
That we know what we're doing and we're catering and delivering what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the design phase.
Mhm.
Because once the permit is issued, that's what I tell them is this is where I rock and roll.
Right.
This is where my team comes in.
Mm-hmm.
We do our dance. We know what we're doing here.
And it's efficient because I think we were talking about how you cut about a month and a half.
Yeah.
With, in San Diego, permitting and approvals, I think takes 6 to 8 months. I'm not gonna lie, we're going through it right now. And once I get it down and understand the experience, we're gonna apply that to what we're doing here with ADUs anyway. So
that's the best way. Our team is recognized and knows what they're doing in the Dadu sector.
Mm-hmm.
So then our permits are entailing all of the things that last one we missed or this one we didn't recognize. So we bring it all together so we don't miss these things.
Right.
It makes it faster. So the permit alone, but then the build side, we have our own internal software that's proprietary that we built where it flags us to order the windows correctly at the right time, order the cabinet 6 weeks ahead.
So nothing's late.
We don't store anything in the warehouse or have a delay because we didn't order correct timing. Everything lines up correctly because we're on pace. And we have the buffers built in. So even if we miss HVAC coming in at the right time and they're 4 days late, we have that buffer, but we know exactly what we need to do.
Efficiency is the name of the game. I love that.
So if I can give you a unit that's done a month and a half earlier, that's a month and a half that you collect rent. You collect it back for your parents. They don't have to live with you. You give them the advantage. I'm looking out for my clients. That it's a client game. It's a relationship game. It's not about the dollar value. It's about giving the whole experience, being a builder that really cares about their own product coming out.
Guys, you've heard it from the Dadu Guy, Shiraz himself. Again, the Dadu Guy on Instagram, every other handle, right?
That's it.
The Dadu Guy, DADU, pretty simple.
Yep.
It's on his shirt.
That's
you
it.
guys want to get a bid and you're in the Seattle area and surrounding, or you just want to hit us up and follow us on Instagram, do that. This is the Creative REI guys, and we are out. Thanks for coming, bro.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.